In human life, from the moment of birth, one must go through old age and illness and then go straight to death. Everyone has to go through that path, no one can escape. If there is birth, there must be death. The impermanence of birth and death in human life is a reality. In ancient times in India, in the city of Xav, there was a rich man. Unfortunately, his wealth was not perfect, so although his fortune was enormous, he was nearly 50 years old and there was no sound of a baby crying in his house, so he went to pray. From everywhere. As expected, the sky does not disappoint those with will. Soon the lady conceived and 10 months later gave birth to a plump white boy. The couple was extremely happy. The old parents gave birth late, so the baby was their golden child. On the day it was full month, they invited many relatives to the house to drink wine to celebrate. It was extremely bustling. That lucky boy grew up in the affectionate love of his parents. When he was 20 years old, he got married to a beautiful girl in the village. The young couple loved each other dearly, and his parents were also very pleased. But in life, people are not happy for 3 years, flowers are not blooming for 3 months, disaster has struck that happy and peaceful family. One beautiful spring day, the gentle wind blew, hundreds of flowers bloomed, the newlywed couple walked together in the garden behind the house. While chatting under the carefree tree, the young wife suddenly saw a flower bud about to bloom on a branch, so she affectionately told her husband, "Dear husband, can you pick that flower that is about to bloom for me?" Hearing his beloved wife's request, the husband naturally rushed up the tree to pick flowers for her. But as he raised his hand towards the flower, unfortunately, there was a cracking sound of a tree breaking. In an instant, the man and the branch merged into one mass and fell. As soon as they hit the ground, the husband's life was lost. Still, the accident happened so suddenly that the young wife fainted in horror. When the rich couple heard this unfortunate news, they could not believe it was true. Their son had just seen this face and was still healthy and alive, so how could he now become a soulless corpse? But the truth is so obvious before your eyes, how can you not believe it? The old couple was frightened and miserable, and the young wife was so desperate that she wanted to commit suicide along with her husband. Anyone who knew about it had to shed tears of sympathy for them. Fortunately, at that time the Buddha passed through this village to teach. When he heard this news, he went to the rich man's house and comforted him in an extremely compassionate way. In human life on earth, if there is birth there must be death, if there is prosperity there must be decline, no one can do otherwise. In this Saha world there is no way there is life without death. No human power can go against the flow of life and death. The death of your child is not decided by God, nor is it caused by anyone's harm. He lives because the causes and conditions harmonize, he dies because the causes and conditions disperse, that's all. Like a traveler, not knowing when to come and not knowing when to go. Don't be too sad, just let your mind relax a bit. But the wise words of the Buddha cannot be fully understood by foolish ordinary people. People always see that every fish they miss is great. Every child who dies prematurely is smart, and every husband who dies early is also faithful. Therefore, the Buddha used expedient means to tell them, okay, don't cry anymore, I will save your child's life. Hearing the words, save, the old couple happily bowed their heads and knelt down to the ground to pray. The Buddha helped them up and said, saving his life is not difficult, the only thing is that you have to go to a house where no one has ever died and light 3 incense sticks to get results. Because they wanted their dead child to come back to life, the old couple split up to look for him. But in the world, where can you find a house where no one has ever died? The two of them bowed their heads in despair and returned. The Buddha preached to them again, you too must understand clearly. As a human being in this world, if there is birth, there must be death. Who loves each other more than mother and child, who is closer to each other than husband and wife, yet can they live forever together? No matter how strong and healthy a person is, one day he or she will die. If your son does not die today, then in the future there will be a time when both sides will have to separate. The Buddha's words seemed to open the door to the wisdom of the old couple. They finally realized that everything in the world is impermanent, so they were no longer so miserable.
Thank you for spending your valuable time on my channel journey to enlightenment. Wishing you a very peaceful and happy day. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to my support channel. See you in the next video.